issue with the major professors and, working with the professors. Like I was talking to my major professor, and, we were talking about this, and he's a professor at University of Idaho, but he was in Iowa State, and, he said there was a guy who came in who had, some kind of a hydrogen system. I don't know all the details, and the university was willing to do, to work with him. They were willing to put up money. But, on most of these grants and this work, you have to match funds. And so, the university was willing to put up like half. The guy needed to come up with half. And he couldn't. Most of us, we don't have the money to match funds.
Well, you just brought up a good point with the grants that I was just talking about. I believe this is an 80-20. And if you're putting in a $500,000 grant proposal, you need to have $100,000 that you can show is in your business. That doesn't mean that you have to throw $100,000 in.
It's in kind, they call it.
It's in kind. So if you can show that you've spent $100,000, then you can put in for a $500,000 grant. But it's a 80-20 split with this particular grant proposal. So depends on how far you're going, how much you've spent, how much you want to do, as far as what you can get grant money. And I don't know of any investors around or anybody throwing money at us. I've never seen any.
I haven't.
I have had one investor give me $1,000 one time, and had it not been for him, I wouldn't have the materials to build the cell that I've got now. So that was really important money, and without that, I couldn't have done what I've done now. But I don't see anybody.
There is a person out there. I just flew back from Oregon, working on a project, invested funded project called the Zero Project, and it deals with electric car and hydrogen technologies. And there is an investor backing it up who has put up about $120,000, and he is a member of the Board of Transportation in New York City. So there are people out there. It's just they're really hard to find. You've got to solicit them.
I think there's, especially with the economy the way it is, I think there's a lot of people who are, worried about, even just private individuals who are worried about their, savings, all their savings. And so I think people like that, I've got some funding from that kind of thing. And so if people, if people are willing to, if we can get something so somebody feels confident that when you say you're going to do what you're going to do, that you can do it. And so I think maybe if we can wrap it into a way where it's kind of in an organization that, that there's, it's not just, okay, so you're going to give Jake Wall funds and, we don't know exactly what we're going to get. I think people would be a lot more willing to give money if they have some kind of insurance that you're going to do what you're, you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Any questions, anybody?
It's almost 3 o'clock. I need to hit the road pretty soon. So Larry, you want to?
I think we're all out.
Guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for being, to the audience, for being a part of this. There's a great movement happening. It's almost an underground movement, but it's happening all over the country. There are thousands of cars being boosted today. Remember the hot rods that took place in the 50s where guys went to the junkyards, they put their hot rods together and the kids went out. Now it's going under the hoods of cars. People are learning about their cars. They're doing things. Some people are getting significant gains. There's a gentleman right over there, Bill Tuck, the trucker. He's an American patriot. He's got a Volvo with over 1 million miles on that truck. Has a 60 series Detroit diesel. That's an American-made diesel. I think it's mechanical. I don't think he has a lot of electronics on it.
No, it's electronic.
Oh, okay, electronic. He made his own booster with information that he got off the internet. So did it himself, brought his truck here. He just wants to show everybody. So this is not about him selling boosters. This is about telling people. Went from 6.5 miles to the gallon to 12 miles to the gallon. That's a great story. That's a story that needs to be told. That's a story that people need to know about all over the country. It can be done. He's an example, and it's being done, and it's going to evolve. It's going to get better. And as you do the solid groundwork that you guys are doing here with the electronics, with the measuring, with the different types of cells, the word is going to get out. And you're given choices, and you're not given choices of of cells that are garbage cells, like glass jars with wires in them. Okay, folks, if you've got a glass jar with wires in it, throw it away, please.
Don't let me see it.
It's a dangerous commodity. One of the things about this event, we said we would allow no glass jars with wires in it, because we didn't want somebody blowing up and having a glass grenade, because let me tell you something, you want to get that glass out of your body, you don't find it with a metal detector. The doctor's got to fish for it. He's got to probe for it. We don't want that happening. We want safe units. All these guys that are involved with IHHOI and the different units that were here this weekend are safe, solid. They're the cream that's risen to the top, and look at them, make your decisions. So I would expect in October there's going to be incremental changes, big changes that take place in Florida. It's again, what's the date on that, Efren?
October 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th, October, and it'll be in Florida.
What days does that fall on?
That's a good question.
Saturday, Sunday, it's a weekend event.
Okay, weekend event. You know, if we carpool, with Zero, you're coming down the coast, maybe we'll catch a ride together or whatever. Somehow we gotta work this out.
My Honda, it's tired.
Okay. A lot of us have tired vehicles, okay? So it's one of those things that we'll get down there, we'll make the event. I don't know each year to year if I'll ever do this again. My technology that I'll be working on over the next year is I really specialize in electric vehicles. That's where I've come from over the years. I've built vapor carburetors, I've experimented with HHO, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna have somebody else build my next booster, because I would just as well promote somebody else's unit. Building these things for us sometimes, these guys do a better job than I can do. I'll be honest with you, y'all do great work, solid professional work. And so why do I need to build one? Because I can experiment on the things with the electric vehicles. My challenge in life personally is a better battery. Dustin, we talked about that earlier.
I'm with you on the electric cars.
Okay. Dustin went out looking for a better battery. He went all over the United States, you know, trying to find, if you go on the internet, you'll see all these different batteries. It's vaporware. They won't sell it to the American public.
I had to go to Germany.
He had to go to Germany and spend $30,000 in Germany because we can't buy a decent battery in the United States.
It's wrong.
It's absolutely wrong.
Angry.
Makes me really
Because
mad.
we have the knowledge and the technology to do it. It's being sucked up and hidden away.
That's exactly right.
So that we have to remain slaves to our political infrastructure.
We could be building our own EVs today, just like you guys are building hydrogen boosters as transition technology, but those batteries are not available. And I'm not going to take 6,000 little lithium batteries and splice them all together. Not going to do that.
That's what you have to do.
That's the only way you're going to do it. No, and I'm not going to go over to Germany, so over the next year, I'm going to do my best to put together a battery, open source it, and share it with everybody. That's my challenge in life. I don't know if I'll get there over the next year, but that's what I want to do personally. So
Well, then we can get you a $100 million tax break like these other batteries, the company that won't sell the batteries.
that's exactly right. See, that's the challenge. In the United States today, you know, they're talking about giving GM all this money, you know, Chrysler, all these guys have done bad business, particularly GM. It burns me up because they crushed the best electric car that was ever available to the public.
Literally
They crushed it.
Literally crushed.
They took it away from people who had $24,000 waving, we'll buy the car.
They had
Just-
one group with $1 million. We will buy one car for $1 million. They would not accept the $1 million
It
for
is,
one car.
and that's GM. Now, when you do that bad a business, why in the world would the government subsidize you? Do you think the government is going to produce the Volt in 2010, a plug-in